my beautiful tribe. My name is Emily Potter. I'm the director of the Lightworker Musicians Tribe and the Million Kisses Foundation. As the holidays come into play and we have our family and community around us, I want to bring this one up because this is something that I've talked to a couple of my clients with lately, and I want to address it to you as well. Are you an undercover light worker with your family and your community? And it's worked thus far, but recently it's getting a little bit too stifling to actually not vocalize your truth. I have been an undercover light worker for so many years. And what that means is that I am more of the listener in the culture of the relationship, where I have this calling to be a light worker and to speak my truth. I also want to maintain, this is who I have been as I built a bridge. I want to maintain these relationships with this family culture that I've created, and I've done that by being a peacemaker and a bridge between, I would say, the third and the fifth dimensions. Okay, so that's, as a light worker, you have a calling to come here and to create change, to create movement, to anchor light on the planet. And we're doing that in our tribe with our music. So many of you are out there and so scared to actually allow your family and community, your coworkers, your neighbors. It's not an easy conversation to let them see who you really are. And in some of those situations, that's actually completely appropriate. There are times though, and this is my point, is that hold on one second. Your calling as a light worker is asking you to first build those bridges as much as possible in your relationships. And the purpose of the bridge though, this is the most key thing. If you're an undercover light worker, as you're spending year after year after year not speaking your truth, because in the purpose of being a peacemaker, I want to call you to a challenge that you are actually creating that bridge and creating that peace and that instilling that trust for the purpose of having a safe place, as safe as possible, to then speak your truth. So the next part of being an undercover light worker is to first create as much of a foundation as possible and then actually come out and speak your truth. Otherwise, it's for naught. You're not doing it for any purpose. And then it gets to the point where you feel stifled. You feel like you're giving your power away. You're not showing your true self. That is not your calling. Your calling is not to just be the peacemaker alone. There's a season for that. There's a time for that. And you get to continue to live into that as you speak your truth. But do not forget that very, very important part of your contract with your light work, that you get to speak your truth. You get to do it in a gentle way, and then you get to see what happens. But what happens, the very finely different, the difference between someone who's a light worker undercover because they're creating a bridge and a peacemaker foundation, and those who are hiding because you're afraid. You have to be true to that. What is true for you? Because honestly, for my own story, there was a time where I knew that I wasn't just building the bridge anymore. The bridge had been built, the peace was there, the gentleness, the trust with my relationships, but then I was just hiding. I was hiding behind the idea, well, I'm just gonna do my undercover light work, or I'm just gonna, do my energy work quietly at my family reunions. There's a time where your truth gets to be spoken. And I will even go further to say that your job when you came in here is to, in the best possible way, create waves of movement, making waves. And the way that that plays out is in your relationships, in your community, what you've already created, and to be brave and courageous in knowing who you really are. So whatever that looks like for you, especially as you're gathering during this season, it's time to really take a self-evaluation. Are you just hiding because you're afraid? Actually, I'd even say terrified to speak your truth. Are you terrified to speak your truth? Own it, claim it. And then now you know where to go. Now you know what the next step is to walk right through the terrified feelings, the fear. because you are here with a greater purpose, tribe, and you're being reminded of that right now. So a lot of you, it has something to do with your music. It may not, but in your musical calling, you have a musical calling to come here and do, and your musical calling is going to make waves. Your truth needs to be heard. What is that truth? Some of you know that you get to go to the next level of believing that you are here to anchor your music to the light, to the planet with your light. So what does that look like in the ways that you're hiding? Look at that, because I can only give you the generalized feeling of what's happening in our tribe. This is something I just talked to my client about very recently, a client, and she was telling me about this, that she's been hiding, and this is her time. This is her, she's going to utilize the family reunion that happens during the holidays to actually speak her truth. And that's called courage. That's called bravery. So that she's not going to be undercover anymore. She's going to be fully out and allowing her light to shine and letting the people in her life be part of the journey with her as much as they would like to. They may not always. But the reason why you're hiding as an undercover light worker could possibly be because you do not want to make waves. You're going to shatter the status quo. And I'm going to share with you one tiny little bit of a solution, because I am so about the gentlest way. I am not someone who needs to come in and shatter all my relationships and say, well, then you just don't understand me. That's not what I'm saying. I actually have the belief that there are 20 ways to say the exact same thing. There are 20 ways. There's the very highest vibration, there's the very lowest vibration, and you can choose which one feels the best for you, especially with specific people and their personalities and your relationship. And that's your work to do, so that you can actually have your truth spoken. It's imperative that you do this. There are 20 different ways to say the exact same thing so that you can have your truth spoken and heard. That's your calling as a light worker, is to create waves, and you can do it in a gentle way. And this is my call to action for you. So for those of you who are done constricting yourself and stifling yourself, and you know that it's time to come out, it's time to transition from being an undercover light worker, as you've been doing all of that inner work and finding the confidence to really believe in your mission and your calling. If you're ready to then come into the next season of saying, okay, I deserve to feel empowered, to feel supported as I come out. You do deserve that. For those of you who are done with the constrictions and the stiflings of being a light worker, and you're ready to come to the next level, and you deserve all sorts of massive support and empowerment, private message me. You do deserve to have that, and it can be in the most gentle way possible. I love my tribe. I send my love and my blessings and my empowerment to you, and I'll talk to you in the next video.